Hey guys, cleanblade here, bringing another Pokemon TCG online video, and today we're going to be looking at Miltank with Crobat. So, let's just jump straight into the deck profile right away. We're going to be running 4 Miltank with powerful friends, 1 energy, 80 damage. Why not love it when you're running Stage 2 Pokemon? So, that's what we're going to do. We're going to love it. Then we're running 2 Sigilyph just to stall on Pokemon EXs. We'll occasionally use Psychic versus certain Pokemon here and there, but other than that, it's mostly just there to stall and let us buy time and move on, if that makes sense. Like, build up and just keep going and going and going, because this deck's very momentum based. So, yeah. Then we're running 4 Zubat, 4 Golbat, 4 Crobat, just for the bites. It does a lot of damage, plus it helps with Miltank Stage 2, powerful friends attack, so that's good. Then we're running 1 letter, 1 repeat ball, 1 scoop up cyclone. We like to replay bats, that's a lot more damage, even funner. They're running 1 megaphone, 4 super scoop ups, same thing as our ace spec, except we had to flip a coin, so why not play 4 of them. Running 1 switch, 3 ultra ball, 3 VS seeker, 2 chorus, because we actually fill up the bench a lot with bats and stuff, so why not run chorus. 2 Lysander, it just wins game. 1 trump card just in case. 4N and 4 Sycamore. We're running 3 Dimension Valley and 2 Muscle Bands just to make the powerful friends do 100 damage when we need it. And then we're running just a total of 9 Psychic Energy, and that's it. So that's the entire deck. So let's just jump straight into it. Get Cleanblade's back here. And we got a quick game. Looks like we're versing some sort of fairy psychic deck, so we're just gonna lead Miltank. But other than that, I want to talk to you guys about something today. I want to know, in the Pokemon TCG community, how do you guys feel about Seismitoad-ex? Do you guys think it's something that should be addressed in the current format, or do you think it's just something that should just be left alone and we should just deal with it for the next 6 months or so, that Seismitoad is just going to be everywhere and we aren't going to be able to stop it, and it's just going to be there, and we're going to have to live with never using our items and relying on supporters all the time? Personally, I think Seismitoad needs to be relooked at, if anything. I know Pokemon doesn't really like going back and changing things and stuff like that, so I wouldn't say I expect it, but I think they should take a look and realize that people don't want to play this game when it is stuff like this, because it's just really boring to play. So, in my opinion, Seismitoad just needs to be, I don't know, moved. I don't think it should be in the format anymore. I don't like it in the format. You may say, well, that's because you're biased and you don't like it in the format, which is completely true. I think it slows down the game so much where it makes the game boring. When all you can do is sit there and watch your opponent quaking punch you for 50 damage every turn, it makes the game boring. The only other decks that can compete with Toad decks are other Toad decks, which makes the game even more boring. You're just sitting there quaking, punching each other like it's fun to do, and nobody likes the meta where you just spam quaking punch to win. It makes the meta boring, if that makes sense. It's just not fun, in my opinion, and I think they should fix it. Whether or not they do is a different story. There's a lot of things they could do, there's a lot of things they should do. Doesn't mean they will do it. In fact, they probably won't do it. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't like seeing it done, if that makes sense. And I think in the future sets, they shouldn't print anything like Seismitoad anymore and stuff like that. I just don't see it making this game any more fun anymore. If they probably reprint it again, cards like this and like Trevenant with Excelgor and stuff like that, I probably just won't play the game anymore, I'll be honest. It would just ruin my experience of the game, and I won't want to play it anymore, personally. It just makes me not want to play the game whatsoever. Some people may well say, well, that's your loss, and indeed it is. If you like playing this type of game, of slow playing games, setup games, by all means, go ahead and play them, but I know a lot of people really don't like the current meta of just Slurp of Seismitoad and Evil Tall Garbiter Seismitoad. It's just not a fun game when it's like this, if that makes sense. At least in my opinion. It turns into a rather boring, let's sit back and do nothing game. You guys may even say, even against a deck like this, that it's kind of boring, but Fairies is a very strategical deck. Little errors mean a lot, and Mega Gardevoir, you do have to set up for it, but you can get kills, and you can use your items, and you can accelerate your own deck, and it's basically a race to see who can get set up fast enough, which is just fine in my opinion. Set up all you want, race each other, play against each other, get those big numbers out. Let's see who can win that way instead of seeing who can win by stall deprivation. And in my opinion, winning by a stall deprivation means nothing to me. I don't get anything from it, if that makes sense. It just does nothing. It's like, why would I play a game where I'm gonna play 20-minute games every round just because my opponent doesn't want to do anything, if that makes sense? It's like, oh, my opponent doesn't want to do anything else but attack with this, and it's like, why would I want to play a game like that? I can't use a quarter of my deck the way it normally would be used just because this guy's gonna run one Pokemon the entire time and win that way. So I don't know, I find it to be a really boring game at that, the way it plays like that, if that makes sense. And if people are fine with that, by all means play with it. It's just my personal opinion on the game. I don't know, it's just something I want to talk about to you guys, I guess you could say. But I have a feeling it won't be addressed whatsoever, and nobody will even flinch an eye at it, really. I don't think enough of the core population of this game agrees with me like that, if that makes sense. I think majority of them are just like, let Pokemon do Pokemon, and it's going to be the same game as it always was, and it's going to be this great game still. And I think that part of the game is just, if they keep printing things like this, it's just going to be a boring game, and we're going to lose even more players than what we already have, and it's just not going to be as good as a game anymore, if that makes sense. So I think they should address something with it. Whether or not they do is completely different here. But Seismitoad, I could ramble on and on and on about it, but that's just my opinion on it, really. I don't know what else to say. There are certain cards that are good against Seismitoad and stuff like that, like Virizion Genesect, but the deck's expensive. Whoever plays Virizion Genesect has stuck a lot of money in their deck, because Virizion Genesect is super expensive, if that makes sense. You aren't going to play someone who has a budget Virizion Genesect deck. It's just not possible, to say the least. It's really not, and it's getting kind of frustrating for all players in the format who are just like, oh, well, everybody else is running Seismitoad, so there's no way else to beat it besides playing Seismitoad yourself, so we're just going to constantly play Seismitoad, and it just never gets fixed. And even in Roaring Skies, if it stays like this, it's still not going to get fixed, and it's just going to become a big thing. A really, really big thing that no one's going to want to deal with whatsoever. And then we're going to have to wait 6 months to a year for Seismitoad to finally get rotated out of the format, and by then everybody's just going to be like, we waited so long for it, why play? Because you had to build all these super expensive, crazy decks just to beat Seismitoad. Why would you continue playing then? Which, it makes sense. Why would you want to spend $100 on a game when you could spend $25, $30 in a different one? It really makes no sense, if that makes sense. Seismitoad is just, it's ruining the game experience, in my opinion. It's proactive in the fact that it changed the meta from this kind of faster paced meta to this, you have the ability to slow down the meta, and now you can do this and this and this, which is kind of cool and all, don't get me wrong. The idea was there, just the way it's played in this game is not good. It's just not good whatsoever, in my opinion. The idea of the way the game is played in my head is we should have just stepped in and kept the fast-paced meta that we wanted, and yeah, we wouldn't be having these issues where everybody's complaining about Toad and stuff like that, because no one wants to play it, and the people who do play it get frowned upon for playing it because nobody wants anybody playing it, because we want to see things change about it, if that makes sense. And I don't know, I wonder if Pokemon will ever address the issue. They did the exact same thing with Gore, Trevenant Lock, but back then you had a lot of Keldeos and stuff like that playing around, and you had Blastoise going about, and you could just really get off to really good starts with Keldeos, and you could get out of the lock of this, and you could kill the Trevenant and stuff like that. So, but with Seismitoad, it's like the only way you're killing Seismitoad in one hit is if you're running Virizion Genis, like, because of its weakness. Leafeon doesn't even kill it in one hit. Not a lot of things kill it in one hit, so it's just one of those things where it's like, unless if you're doing this, you're gonna have a really hard time doing the rest of it, if that makes sense. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion on it. I'm sure a lot of people share a lot of different opinions on it. So, I mean, I don't criticize anybody for running anything else. I mean, for playing Seismitoad, that's what they want to play, that's what they think is the best. I guess you should always play the best in that case, but I think it's just an issue that needs to be addressed, that's all. Because sure, everybody likes playing the best in any card game. Why would you play the worst when you can play the best? And that's always something to consider. Why would you play the worst when you can play the best? Which is, and it's very true. You don't want to play the worst when you can play the best. But it also it just sucks the fun out of the game. The fun aspect of getting good top decks, like the item card that you need at the last second to win the game. It's all just gone. It's all just gone with that alone. So, I don't know. The Seismitoad in this meta, I personally don't like it. I didn't really like Trevenant Lock either, but at least it was able to work around it with Keldeo EXs and stuff like that. You could work around it. Sure, you couldn't use your items, but you could still take prizes really easily. Trevenant died pretty easily in that format. Gore, if you caught it out, it was dead easy too. So, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but that's just what it feels like to me. It just feels like one of those things that's slowly sucking the life out of the game, I guess you could say. In its own manner, too. It has all this support behind it and all this hype behind it because it's such a good card, but then again, it's just like a card that no one wants to play against. Nobody wants to verse this card because it's annoying, and it's boring, and it's slow to play against. Sure, even this game that I'm playing right now, it's a slow game. But I could come back at any moment. I could, let's see, if I would have another Miltank here, I could kill this with a Bat and a Crobat, and then I could grab a Miltank, Lysander this out, kill this Mega Gardevoir, and bam, we're like even in prizes again. It's stuff like that that you have to always consider, and I don't think Pokemon is considering it anymore. But at the exact same time, I'm not one to judge. There's a huge community out there for it, so the community could be like, yes, we want this, we want to play like this is how it is. So I guess in my opinion, I don't know if that's the case. If people want to play like this 24/7, I guess I'd just stop playing, which is kind of sad because I do like the game. But if that's just the case, you put this game behind you and you move on. If you get what I mean, you just move on and do what else you gotta do. I'm not gonna spend hours trying to convince people that it's not good, because clearly it is, and people clearly like it this way. So it has to be some good. People are spending money on it, stuff like that. So yeah, but that's just gonna be the end of my rant on Seismitoad. I just don't think it's the proper way to build. So that would just be the end of my rant on Seismitoad. But anyways, this game though, I'm gonna lose this game. There's really nothing I can do about it. It's mostly just a game I recorded to kind of rant a little bit. See if anybody shares the same feelings about me and Seismitoad, stuff like that. But yeah, we're gonna lose this game. It's fine though. This video is just kind of showcasing a new beginner-friendly deck that's able to do something and have fun with and all that stuff. So that's all it really was about. So yeah. Of course, I'm just looking at this game right now and I'm just like, wow, we are really behind. And we do see the retreat, which this is just game now. So here we'll just concede. But thank you guys for watching the video and stuff like that. If you liked the video, leave a thumbs up. If you disliked the video, leave the thumb down. Just give me some sort of reference here. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below if you liked talking about certain things in the game, and let me know your guys' feel on Seismitoad and stuff like that. So yeah, if you liked it, let me know your opinion and subscribe. Why not? Have a good day, guys.